All right, everybody. Welcome to the Internet Sports Broadcast Network. We have three friends, Todd Frank, Donovan Hughes, Hardy Burke, and what we like to do is just sit around, talk sports. We recap what happens from the week before. We had some predictions last week. I might go back and add them in and then start this broadcast just to show you how good we were last week. So, guys, welcome. Say hi.
Hey.
What's up?
All right, guys. Listen, I'm going to let you guys kind of run with this tonight a little bit on the front end. I'm curious to see what your thoughts are about this past weekend in college. Let's start there and try to stick with that for a while before we move on. So anybody want to jump in here first and put their thoughts in? And I know you're going to mention Texas first, right?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Well, that's all right, man. I like that Baylor game. You know, I just keep on rewatching the first half. And I mean, it's victorious. It's just, I mean, you talk about a tale of two halves. It's just like, it is just mind blowing how they could rock so and have so much momentum. And then the second half, it was just a whole different story.
It's called coaching.
Yeah. I don't even know if they got like a first down in the second half. I mean, that's how bad it was. I was in awe. I was just like craziness.
You know, when I thought they got up to 28 to what, nothing, or 28 to 3 or something like that, I was going, man, these guys are unstoppable. They had Oklahoma just reeling, right? And then I guess Oklahoma came out second half and decided to flip the field on them, and they did. Pretty amazing. What a comeback. 25 points down and one.
Well, there's a saying that as far as coaching goes, for high school to college to pros, high school you make game adjustments. In college you make halftime adjustments, and in the pros you make quarter to every couple of drive adjustments, and that you can see who are the good X's and O's and the ones that, sorry, but shit the bed on their game plan.
Yeah.
And they have nowhere to go from it. So that's what happens, unfortunately.
Yeah. So
just the sheer domination that first quarter, man. I was like, dude, Baylor. I was like, I sent you a text. I was like, man, Baylor's rocking.
Yep.
And you know, I was thinking that was going to be my big upset, and in a way, it was a big upset because, you know, the second half just really pissed me off. It's like, man, that first half was so good, and that second half, I was like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, they couldn't swing their way past midfield in the second half, man. They got run over like a freight train.
Yeah.
And that's a good segue. Talking about getting run over by a freight train. What happened to them Longhorns?
Yeah, what happened?
Well, they didn't get run over, but they do as they always do, and they just they make a game that they had every chance to win. They make it close, and unfortunately, sometimes they win, sometimes they don't. And there were so many don't get me started. I'm about to have an aneurysm.
Just calm down, breathe deeply.
My poor wife, she was, I watched this game literally by myself with my wife in the kitchen and downstairs, and I was throwing an absolute fit. And
does she still live there? That's what I want to know.
No, she does.
Okay, all right.
She's a good woman. She's a great woman. She puts up with my crap. Trust me, she's a good woman. But I just saw so many little details. We got blown up on both sides of the ball as far as the front seven.
Yeah.
Our lines just got blown up. I mean, at least the first half. I actually was looking at it, and I could not believe what I was looking at. It looked like I like Alabama or Clemson's line that's had the top three class the last 5 years. They were killing, like blowing completely. And then it changed in the second half. But I don't get how that could change when you're one-on-one with somebody. I mean, that's just a mentality. It has nothing to do with skill.
Hey, Todd,
Yo.
I think what we'll do is we'll go to the dollar store maybe this week. We'll get some Donovan, some of those like soft bricks that he can throw at the TV set. Would that help you, Donovan? If we got you some of those throw bricks you can throw at your TV, would that be cool?
I have 47 of them.
Okay, you have 47. We'll make it
I'm just kidding.
49.
I'm just kidding.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's hard not to get emotional, you know, when you want your team to win. It's just, I don't know. What do you think about moving forward? I mean, what's the rest of the season going to look like?
Consistency for them is what they've got to come to. I mean, and I think it'll come. I think they're still adjusting to each other, and I personally think that they'll get more consistent and they'll learn from all this, and I think they'll be a better team. You know, I mean, there's nowhere else to go with that. You can't explain how you can play so good against Kansas State, then turn around and lose to a team you should have beat.
Well,
right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but Sam Ehlinger has. How do you explain that?
Did you repeat that?
Sam Ehlinger.
Yeah.
This year.
Do you think he's like over analyzing it? You know, choking a little bit.
No. I think he knows to be done, and I don't. There are so many calls that I don't get. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the same thing that he's looking at, right? Bench. And it might be X and you Y off of that, right? I'm looking at it, and maybe it's on Sam. Maybe he's over his, but I'm going at this point, you could just hike the ball, Sam, with the way the defense is lined up and run to the right for 3 yards. There's nobody over there. I mean, I mean, a toddler could run if you there. So I just go, I don't understand the play calling. I don't. And they should have gotten aggressive at some points, especially in the fourth quarter at the end of the game that I didn't understand. Of course, when you have your one of your team captains that jumps off sides on a field goal attempt
on the last play of the game.
On the last, well, it ended up being for the Longhorns.
And give
the last play, yeah. I mean, they just nailed the ball down
5 yards, and yeah.
I mean, what? It's a calamity of errors. I mean, it's just it's hard to watch. It is.
Well,
in so many ways.
I did not see that game, so that's why I'm not commenting, but I was biting my nails on another game, and that was Auburn and Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
And Auburn was down 21-0 at the start of the fourth quarter, figured out the Georgia defense, came roaring back. They had a 4th and 2, and Bo threw a 2-yard pass behind the running back.
Right.
Would have been a first down, and I swear they would have tied that game.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So
the freshman, a true freshman.
Yeah, he'll be all right. But still, let's kind of recap what we saw this week. Let's go through some of the games. Minnesota lost.
They did.
And I think we predicted they would win, correct?
I thought that they had a really good chance to win.
I did too.
I was surprised that they actually lost. And they had a chance to win the game.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't that they got blown out, but that I was kind of hoping for them because I really like them. I like their coach. I don't know if we've talked much about his coach, but I don't know, his players play for him, period.
Well, I think the bottom line is that takes the Baylor Minnesota. I mean, out of the mix, right? From the standpoint of you don't have to worry about those guys being considered anymore.
No.
So that ends that. And then you've got LSU. Looks like they're going to be playing Georgia for the Southeastern Conference championship game. That should be one great football game. But I think LSU just dominates Georgia. That's my opinion. When it comes.
What do y'all think is going to happen with Alabama now that they're
well, they gotta play Auburn in the Iron Bowl, and Auburn's defense is good enough to give Alabama fits without their quarterback.
Yeah.
Their defense will keep Auburn in the game. I don't know if Auburn can outlast Alabama because they're Alabama's defense, but Auburn has a chance to win that game now, whereas before I didn't think they even had a chance. So we'll see.
I might be crazy, but I think that Alabama is better with their freshman quarterback healthy than they were with Tua not healthy.
They might be, because that guy's not, immune. He's played, you know what I'm saying? He's a good quarterback. I mean, there might be a big shocker that he comes in and just plays lights out. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, I mean, he's a 4-star recruit.
I understand.
And if you can go back to our second podcast, I said if Tua plays not 100%, Alabama's going to lose against LSU.
Yep, and they did.
They did. If they'd have started, that guy and gave him all the reps in practice, I think they had a better chance of winning that game.
There you go. Good thought.
Period.
Good point.
Yeah.
Real good point.
Alabama, to me, I think is better than Georgia right now, even with the freshman quarterback. I do. Maybe I've just been hit upside the head so many times with Alabama winning, but across the board, I just think they'll be more physical, and I think they have a better coach.
Yeah. Well, they've got to get through Auburn to make it interesting in that top four, right? And somebody in that top four has got to screw up. Well, and I don't have the schedule in front of me, but who has the tough games left? LSU plays who next week? Do we know?
Well, LSU has LSU has Arkansas next week.
That's a lay down. We say that.
Yeah, that's a layup. Yeah, for sure.
Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State. Yeah, they have actually have Penn State next week.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They'll be Penn State.
That should be a pretty decent game.
Should be.
And of course, and Clemson has South Carolina, which that could be an interesting game.
Yeah, that could be, because South Carolina is good enough to give them fits, right? So
they beat Georgia.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you never know what team's going to show up, kind of like Texas thing. And then Georgia plays who?
So Georgia plays Texas A&M.
That's right. Interesting. Yeah, you never know.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of football left.
Right.
Well, what about the Texas-Baylor game? You think maybe Baylor's going to dominate the first half, and then Texas will maybe get the second half?
Are you trying to paint me into a corner, Todd, or what?
I'm just wondering.
I'm neutral. So after seeing what Baylor did in the first half, I don't know if Texas can slow them down. But again, it's a different game. It's a big rivalry game. You don't know they're going to be up for it. You don't know what's going to happen. And after seeing Baylor collapse, I mean, why not give Texas a chance, right? But man, Baylor looked good the first half. That was amazing. Amazing.
Todd, I'm giving you a hard time, but my Longhorns, when I think they're going to win a game, they don't, and when I think they're probably going to lose, they win.
All right, so you just need to go ahead and say, Longhorns are going to capitulate and they're going to roll over, and Baylor's going to have their way with them. I
don't know about capitulating, but my heart's saying that probably Baylor's going to win, which means the Longhorns will probably win.
Right.
Yeah, it's just
you never know, guys. I mean, when you have a team that shows up and scores 28 points and looks like they're going to score 80, right? And then the second half they only get 37 yards. I mean, you can't sit here and say they can play two consistent halves.
That's how bad it was. 37 yards. Holy crap!
Yeah, it was something so low. I can't remember them getting a first down. I think they got one.
I didn't watch the game, but
I did.
The second half was 3 and out.
Oh yeah.
Their poor defense was, hands on hips by about the end of the third quarter.
Oh, they were absolutely wore out.
Yeah.
Absolutely wore out.
And I tell you what, I have a lot of respect for the quarterback for Alabama. For Oklahoma. Hurt. I mean, he played calm even when things were going wrong in the first half, and he just came back and started doing it, I mean, he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, that I guess that's something that a lot of like players have, that poise.
Yeah.
To keep it together when things aren't necessarily going your way. And I mean that's a very important component to keep on doing what you need to do, and
Right.
don't try anything too radical, because people all of a sudden they get off emotionally, get off center, or they start trying to rethink, like, man, maybe if I do this, maybe if I do that, and they kind of overthink it.
Yeah.
That's when you get into a lot of trouble. And so having that stability to say, hey, it may not be working right now, but we're going to keep on fighting a good fight. It pays off.
Hey, and Todd, was there any doubt in your mind in the second half that when Baylor had to kick the ball to Oklahoma, that Oklahoma was not going to drive down the field and score? Did you have any doubt in your mind?
Oh,
I
yeah.
had none.
I mean,
I had none. I knew they were going to score.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like once that locomotive, got a good head of steam on it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's over. I was like,
yeah, they're going to go down and score. They're going to score again. Because they couldn't be stopped.
Yeah.
If you know it, that they know it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the problem. When you
can
feel from your chair, if you can feel the momentum, they feel it.
Yeah. So let's talk Oregon a little bit.
Yep. I was going to ask you the same thing.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job on Arizona, right? So what do we do with these guys? They're only got one loss to Auburn, right?
Well, you got Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, Utah, Oklahoma, Penn State, all 9-1.
Yeah. Yeah.
And personally, I think Alabama's better than Georgia. I think Oregon is not as good as Alabama. I think that they're even with Georgia. Utah's a toss-up with Oregon, so you can put them in there. Oklahoma, it depends on their day. I think they're inconsistent. Penn State, I think they're overrated. So that's my take on them.
Well, I think you're right about Penn State and Oklahoma, man. I think of those top teams up to Alabama, I think they're one of the better ones to come out of that mix, right? I think they could beat Oregon. I think they could beat Utah. You know what I'm saying? I think they're like right behind. They should be right behind Alabama, right? I think personally.
They're all just kind of mixed up in the same group.
Yeah. So it goes back to the same thing. Somebody in the top four has got to lose to let Alabama back in.
Which they will. Georgia and LSU have to play each other.
But LSU and Georgia only play for the SEC championship. This was that problem I was telling you about. That game wouldn't knock them out of the top four. That's just, well, it might. You tell me if LSU were to lose to Georgia that they would knock LSU out of the top four?
If it's a close game, no.
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 So that championship game leaves, because they're certainly not going to give Alabama a spot just because they're sitting on the sidelines waiting to see who kicks whose butt, right? We went through this last week. That was my problem.
I mean, there's a scenario where LSU plays Georgia.
What if they tied? That would be the best.
Even if they lose by 3 points in a let's say a 31-28 game, right?
Yeah.
And so LSU drops to 3. Ohio State goes to 1. Clemson goes to 2. And Alabama goes to 4. And they drop Georgia to 5.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
It happens.
I think if LSU beats Georgia in the championship game, they'll sneak Alabama, if they do their job, right back into the top 4. That's what I think. But I don't think the opposite way will work because LSU's too good. I think they're going to roll over Georgia, if you want to know the truth.
I know, I do too. But the thing is Oregon, Utah, and Oklahoma, and Penn State at this point, because Penn State haven't beaten Ohio State. I don't even know if they play them this year.
Yeah, they should have like the underdog national championship.
Well, what I'm saying is Alabama at this point, if they do beat
Auburn,
they'll have at least a signature win going into it.
Yeah, I agree.
Oregon lost to Auburn, close.
Yeah.
But they don't have a signature
in the last 9 seconds, right?
Well, I'm just saying, they don't have a signature win. They lost to a freshman quarterback, a true freshman starting his first game.
Yeah, agreed.
So, I mean, what do you do with that on the committee? Is what I'm saying. I mean,
well, I think they're going to stick with these top 4 teams, and they're just going to wait and see how that shakes out. They don't win, somebody's going to get kicked. I just got that feeling.
There's a lot of football left. That's for
I know.
sure.
We keep saying that, you know.
But 3 games is a lot of football.
So, did you guys have any favorite things or interesting things you saw in plays that you liked, or anything this weekend?
Actually, it was pretty mundane for me.
Okay.
Nothing crazy.
Okay.
Todd, what about you?
On pro stuff, not so much college.
Well, we're going there next. So how's that?
And we got NASCAR to cover too.
All right. So okay, guys, let's get around the kitchen table here. We're going to break away from the college and start talking NFL. Todd, you like the pro? I'm let you jump into this. Pick wherever you want to start, and we'll follow your lead, brother.
Man, all I can say is I'm excited for next weekend. I mean, watching the Seahawks and the Eagles, the Cowboys and the Pats, and then the Packers, 49ers. I mean, that's like,
man, what a week of football, huh?
I'm telling you that I'm feeling good about this because I got to get my NFL picks on, and those are going to be some awesome games.
Yeah. How did we do on our picks? I got to go back and listen. I think we got kicked around a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah, I thought the Texans would do pretty well against.
Yeah, they got run out of the.
Yeah, that was bad
against the team that I said
would do it. Yep.
That is really, really good right now with Baltimore.
Yeah, it's like Deshaun Watson. It's like, was he even there?
But it was his worst game in his entire college and pro career.
Yeah, and so the Ravens become a real test. They've already beat New England, and they're going to be the team to kind of watch out for, along with the Patriots, right?
Until somebody figures them out. Yeah.
So I don't know if y'all saw this, but there was a article that was out there on ESPN, and the guy said that Tom Brady is no longer playing at elite status, and I was like, man, that is
whatever
brutal, man. It's like.
So 9-1's not good enough, huh?
Yeah, no, that's BS.
I mean,
so this guy doesn't have anything to write, or did he run out of article room? Or
exactly.
Was he doing something else? Or
yeah, I was like, wow. It's like how the winds of change, happen so quickly. All of a sudden, Tom Brady is no longer an elite quarterback. Yeah, it was pretty insane.
There might be 2 teams out there that might not want Tom Brady as their quarterback because of the quarterback that they have. The rest of them would give up a first-round pick if they could have him right now.
Yeah.
Hey,
at the end of the season. I mean, just come in. I mean, even though we're, 4 games out or whatever, if we could have you, we'll take you right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Did y'all watch the Pats Eagles game?
I did.
Yeah, it was pretty tough game for Tom, man. He was under habitual attack.
But you know what? Even though they won the game, and I'll tell you what, he was facing a tough defense. So the fact that he was able to hang in there, I mean, that was a good football game. Defense was good for Philadelphia. They're scary.
Well, they have a good defense. I mean, they
do.
Yeah,
they proved it.
That's not a surprise, and it's kind of one of those comes back to coaching too. All it takes is for the Eagles to change up their coverages, something they haven't done, and Tom Brady's studied because he's like the biggest studier of all time.
He can read anything.
Oh my gosh! And if they start doing something different, it caught him off guard. But the thing is, they couldn't do it to him again.
But you know what? Philadelphia on the offense side still missing Jackson. That could have been the difference in that game.
Yeah, sure.
Can't count Philadelphia out, even though they're an even 5-5, right, or something like that. So, what I was impressed with, Todd, and you didn't have to take your antidepressants too long this week. Zach threw for 441 yards.
Yeah, he was solid.
But their defense gave up 27 points. This is not the same defense we saw last year. Usually when Dallas got a lead like that, they didn't have to fight that hard,
Hey, and what do you think about their not so special teams?
They're not so special.
They are not so special. when he was in the end zone and they did that kickoff. And
Oh,
he started to run out. He's like, "Oh," I'm like, "Oh, you're an idiot." I mean,
Yeah.
come on, man. It's like fair catch it, get out to the 25-yard line. And they ended up starting that drive at the 10-yard line because of that.
yeah. I mean, but the thing that kills me about these punts today is back in the old days, if anything was kicked and you were receiving it around the 10, you just let it hit the ground, got out of the way, and made them try to knock it down, right, and down it. Now they catch the darn thing on the 5-yard line. I don't get that.
They can fair catch it now.
Well, I understand they can. No, I'm talking about on punts too. Why would you want to catch a football inside the 10?
No,
just let
never.
it hit and make them prove they can down it. Don't give it to them.
And unless the punters have gotten so much better, which I don't.
Well, they have, but I mean, still, I would rather let it hit and get out of the way and make them try to knock it down or touch it or down it, as opposed to catching on the 10 and then being stuck all the way back. It didn't seem to hurt Dallas's offense, luckily.
80% of the time when it hits on around the 10-yard line, it's going to go in the end zone.
Yeah. I've watched a lot of the NFL teams this year, and I am a Dallas fan, so I'll just admit that up front. But man, their receiver core is unbelievable.
Yeah, they're better than I thought they were this year. Actually.
Yeah, they need a drive. They get it.
I think it's Cobb. Cobb is their energizer.
Right.
I do. I think him coming on board, I mean, he just does like the little things that need to be done. He catches like passes, not necessarily that they're hard to catch, but just in the right time. And him and Dak have, I think, a really, really good rapport.
Yeah.
And Cooper changed the whole dynamic when he came over last year.
Immediately. It wasn't even 2 games. It was immediately.
You can look at the numbers.
Yeah.
When you have a deep threat like that with him, but Cobb does all the little things. He's a veteran, and
Gallup does all the little things across the middle and all that. And then
I'm all in on the wide receiving core. The offensive line still hasn't lived up to their billing.
No, and I don't think the defense is gelled yet enough to say what are they going to do in a big game, right? They just give up too many points right now. So what other games were interesting? Atlanta looks like they've come back to life. New Orleans came back to life, right?
Yeah.
What other? Oh, Carolina got hammered.
Yeah, and the Saints are playing Carolina this week.
Okay, well, I'm not going. I know who's going to win that game. But
and the Broncos almost beat the Vikings.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah,
what a comeback that was, huh?
Yeah, that was like my upset game right there. I mean, I was
you almost really had it, man.
I was like, what? What are those Broncos doing? They're playing football. It's like,
yeah, and then Minnesota came roaring back. Another one of those adjustments where they just come back and run down the field, and win the game, which is unbelievable. Raiders won.
They did.
They're 6-4.
Yeah, I would have guessed they would be.
Watch out.
3-7 at this point.
Watch out. And then did the Bears win their game?
No.
They got beat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
They're good at that.
Yeah.
They're absolutely dominating at losing.
Yeah.
You can be proud of something, Chicago.
They dominate the loser.
Yeah. They're the number ones. Hey, so
I thought that was the Bengals. Come on, man. They dominate losing. Cleveland won.
Oh, yeah.
You happy about that, Donovan?
Yeah.
No. And in fact, I thought they lost.
No, they won.
They won.
They won and they're 4-6.
They won.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. They got a chance. They're working back toward the world wild card. Yeah.
They also won a $250,000 penalty too.
Oh, there was a fight after the game, Donovan, where a Pittsburgh guy kicked the guy, and then the guy took off the Pittsburgh quarterback's helmet and tried to hit him in the head with it.
No, he did hit him in the head.
He did hit him in the head, and I think he's been suspended indefinitely.
From Texas A&M. Yeah.
Gone.
Could have been a better person.
Yep. Myles Garrett. He's out for a season.
Yep. And that was a big player for Cleveland. So anyhow, they did win. I just thought I'd tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're still 4-6. That's like putting lipstick on a pig.
I understand. Hey, if you ever want to bug Donovan, just get in the car with him and talk about Baker Mayfield. Just bring it up.
I mean,
Let's listen to the Cleveland radio podcast with Blake.
They're probably saying the same thing. Don't get me wrong.
No, he's picking up the stadium tonight. They had a party.
So the game I want to see this next week is Ravens and Rams. That's going to be a good game on Monday Night Football.
There's a bunch of good games. Todd, review us on the matchups this week, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, the big three I want to see are the Seahawks versus the Eagles, Cowboys and Pats, and then the Packers and the 49ers. I mean, that should be.
That's just 3 great games right there.
That's a Sunday night game, yeah.
In which is Dallas Sunday night game?
No, Dallas
is a noon game.
Midday.
Yeah, midday.
Yeah, midday. They playing in New England?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
It'll be snowing there. They'll be cold.
Yeah. Yeah, they might need their warmers.
You know, Brady's got a chance to kill them across the middle.
He probably will.
It kind of seems like Tom really hasn't had any like real good targets downfield lately. I mean,
no, but Dallas just seems like they struggle with those crossing patterns and those delayed screens, and the Pats run tons of screens, and it's Dallas's defense is so aggressive. They just run themselves out of making plays, right? I mean, not because they're bad, but because they just are so assertive. They get fooled. They're dead. I mean, but my feeling is they're going to run screens all night and draws and little passes across the middle element. They're just going to eat them up alive across the middle. I may be wrong.
So you don't think those linebackers
Zach can throw for a bunch of yards too. I mean, come on, it could be a score fest actually.
Well, the Pats have a really good defense, but I will tell you this: the Cowboys linebackers are loaded.
They're great,
and that is the one. I think this is probably the best linebacking core that Brady's going to go against this year.
Yep.
And I think the Cowboys have a chance to make a difference there. Now, on the other level, as far as 20 yards, if they, you're talking about the best quarterback of all time. Let's just put it out there, and one of the best coaches of all time.
Yeah.
They're going to look at soft spots in that defense, and I guarantee it's going to be 20 to 25 yards with the little scat backs that they run across the middle. And
that's what I'm saying. You
don't even know their names.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah. Okay, so he's going to be a star next year.
Right. Yeah,
that guy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Good game though, and then like I said, you've got Green Bay and San Francisco. That's going to be a great game.
Absolutely.
And in Seattle, and who was that Seattle play?
The Eagles.
That's another good game.
Yeah.
Getting into December, isn't it? Yeah.
Ravens, Rams. That's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
That's a Monday Night Football game.
I mean, honest to God, I mean, the Ravens are going to just stomp them and then pound them. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think that'll happen.
No,
because the Rams can put points on the board. I mean,
I don't know. I think the Rams quarterback's struggling this year. I think they're going to be all over that guy.
Yeah,
it could happen. Yes.
My take is before the game they flip a coin. They're like
they better have Gurley running. I mean, they got to get his running game going. And the same with Dallas, man. They've become a passing team with their wide receiver core. What did Elliott get? 47 yards last week?
Well, hey, isn't there a reason why?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's not that Elliott's not a world-class rusher.
No, it's just
and not throwing weight around like they need to. I mean, and they give them some Viagra and some white powder, and get them jazzed up and get them out there kicking some butt instead of kind of rolling over and being lazy.
That'll be an edit. If
you put those together, is that okay? Or do you
have offensive line moving,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Well, what's happened is these defenses have learned that they're risking taking the run away. And that's what's opening up the receiver. So you got to look at it two ways, right? You got to look at it like, hey, if they take the run away, they think they can beat them. But in this case, that may not work. so they're going to shut the run down or try to, but that
Right.
just opens up some other things.
Well, yeah,
So they're going to take what they are given.
Yeah, it's the whole accordion. You got to
Yeah.
run it so everything tightens up, and then you go
Right.
out wide and start throwing.
Right.
And then once it opens up, you start running inside. I mean, it's I don't know. It just last end of the game with like doing the 2 consecutive runs when they're in the red zone. I mean, that's when they shouldn't be trying to run it because it didn't work all night long.
And the thing about Dallas is they don't look like when they get in that set that it's probably what Donovan's talked about before in previous podcasts. They just don't look like they have any way to fool you with motion or to get linebackers moving a certain way. You know what I'm saying? They seem to line up and run a certain kind of play.
Well, yes, but the problem I have with it is with their offensive line is even if the defense knows what you're going to do,
if you're good,
you should be able to
move them.
Yes, you should impose your will. And the Cowboys of 93 and 95 that won their championships, won Super Bowls, they lined up and said, "This is what we're going to do. Figure it out.
Stop us. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to run it until you stop it, and then we're probably going to run it some more, and then we're going to kill you over the top."
That's right, and that's how they did it. They were awesome.
What killed offensive line the right way, but for some reason, I don't know if it's like Tyron Hill. Some of them are just, I don't know if they're 100%, but they're not the offensive line they had last year.
Yeah.
I think Dak is playing better this year than he played last year.
Well,
yeah, I think
the numbers are great.
The receiving core is playing better than last year. The thing is that is doing better in pass protection, but not on run. You can see it. I mean, they're not getting blown off the ball, but they're not opening the holes they were opening last year. And it could be scheme too. They got a different offense.
Yeah.
I mean, they might not be pulling a certain way. They might be man blocking on certain. And Zach is like going at this point.
Yeah.
And,
all right, guys. Any final thoughts on the NFL?
Yes.
Okay.
Please stop advertising and showing the whole Dak dance, whatever that thing is he does in warm up.
Oh, the hip thing?
Yeah. Men shouldn't move like that.
I've got one thing to say, and it's something about college football. Tua should have been pulled in the third quarter before he got injured.
Agreed.
And I was watching the game, and I was like, what's he doing in there? And I think he talked him into it because he's a Heisman Trophy candidate, and that's what happens. He should never have been in that game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, anyway. I can't imagine getting a dislocated hip, a broken nose, and a concussion all in one tackle.
Well,
but
fractured
it happened.
pelvis.
And a fracture, yeah. And they fixed it this week, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, he that was just, he went down wrong, and that leg didn't flatten out. It kind of like dug, and he had that jammed his femur up into his pelvis, and that's
that hurts. Ouch.
Absolutely brutal.
You just made me hurt. All right, so Joe Gibbs has won Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And now he's dominating NASCAR.
Absolutely.
He's been dominating NASCAR.
Yeah, I know. And can I say something though? Could they finish up somewhere else? To me, that was the most boring race. For a final. God, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It came down to track changing, pit stop adjustments, but overall, to me, it just seems like they could find a better way to finish out the season and make it more exciting.
Seriously, look, they needed some wipeouts. They needed some accidents. It was just so sanitary.
Yeah.
I mean, there was very little rubbing,
It
was like gentlemen racing out there, and that's not what we want. I mean, we want people, hitting the wall. We want burnouts. We want accidents. And, I mean, we don't want to see anybody get hurt, but that's kind of fun. And, I mean, they're all out there racing like gentlemen, waving to each other, saying, hey, man, go on by. And I mean, when in that
Yeah,
second
but
stage, when Truex was going to be like down a lap, they got I think it was car 63 or one of those cars to do a little, got a caution, so he didn't lose his lap. I thought that was pretty interesting how you can call up somebody else's team and say, hey man, we're about ready to be down a lap if we don't get a caution. Have your driver do a nice little power skid so we could get a caution out there. I was like, oh man, that's serendipitous, the timing of that.
well, I wish they put Homestead like back and switch the final to like Bristol.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to a Bristol game, a Bristol.
I just think they ought to put them on
night.
that short, traditional NASCAR track, put Homestead back as part of the championship points, right, for elimination. But when it comes down to the final four, put them back at Bristol. Then we'll find out, you know, what the nerves are like and all that. But Kyle Busch, we predicted him to do it.
Yep.
He did it. Certainly, two-time champion, man.
I thought it was more, but yeah, that's.
Well, he's won professional wins now.
200 and something.
Top 10% of racers.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you've got 200 wins, including trucks, Xfinity, and the big boys, I mean, you know, and he just, and I'm sure he's won races on dirt tracks we don't even know about, but my gosh, in NASCAR, 200 wins, come on, crazy.
Hey, so what do you think about Truex's pit crew putting the tires on the wrong
I think that's kind of hard
side.
to do.
Huh?
Yeah, they put the wrong set of they put the tires, they're supposed to be on one side on the other. You know, those things are specially put on
Sure.
for tow and stuff, the way they set up the cars. And if you put the tire on the wrong side, it's designed to be on a certain side. Well, it lost him the race.
You have one job, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people really get confused with the left side of the car and the right side of the car. You know?
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean,
The one with the L on it is left. The one with the R, right.
Right. Now, what I didn't hear, and I hadn't followed up with it, was those tires marked wrong. You know,
that
I've seen that happen before where they put the wrong markings on them, right?
Right. Somebody's getting fired.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Because you don't lose the championship over
that cost him
left and right.
a race because he had plenty of car to win that thing.
Sure.
Oh, absolutely. He's running fast.
You know, and Hamlin, poor Hamlin, struggled all night.
Yeah, he never caught a break.
No, he was having a bad night, and then Harvick gave it a run, but then lost his car kind of like, you know, toward the end. So yeah. Move that to Bristol, man. I want to see some door banging, short track racing for the championship.
It was very, very uneventful as far as, you know, big drama stuff. That's definitely certain. I mean, they were all, it kind of takes fun out of it, honestly.
Well, see, that's what I was saying. At Bristol, even if the guys are trying to get out of the way, you still got to make passes there, right? You still gotta get on the inside of people to pass them and stay down on the lines. And if you had 43 cars on the track and those guys were flapping traffic, it would make the race interesting, right? Because then you're going to see real driver skill as opposed to just going around a big oval that got spread out. So that's just my thought. I mean, you know, I'm sure NASCAR looks at all that stuff and decides what to do. They'll figure it out. I mean,
is Bristol the shortest track?
Yes.
It is?
Yes. Yeah. Martinsville and Bristol's kind of the one that, you know, we used to yell, I fought the wall and the wall won, because it's totally just one short circle of bank track, right? And very few spots for the car to flatten out. It's that short. It's a half-mile track, I think.
They only do the Bristol.
You know, 500 laps doesn't
right?
take long. Let me put it that way.
Right. And they only do it at night there at Bristol, right?
I think the last couple of races have been nighttime races at Bristol. There've been some daytime races too. Martinsville's a daytime race. Yeah, Bristol's night. Yeah, you're right.
Because I was told, and that's in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, right on the border. You know, Bristol's half on Tennessee and half on the next state. Right.
I have some. My dad's Vietnam buddies are from Tennessee, and they were wanting me to come up. I met them.
You should do that sometime. You would love that.
They
It's
said,
amazing there. It's amazing to be at that track.
They said, if you're going to go to that race,
go to that one.
It's going to go. If you're going to go to a race, go to that one.
Yep.
And just know that you're going to spend 3 hours in traffic both ways, going in and coming out.
Yep. Yep.
Because it's out in the middle of nowhere and there's only one way in, one way out.
Yeah.
So.
And people go there and camp all week, man.
Yep.
I mean,
which is cool.
And the second race, I would say that's really exciting to go watch live is not just Daytona, but Talladega.
Talladega. My dad's from Alabama.
Yeah, I am too. And I used to go to that race as a kid. And I will tell you, there's nothing more impressive than watching those cars come down that straightaway with that floor all the way around that track. It's just amazing noise. It's amazing speed, you know, and you're going, how do those guys do this? So there you go. So Kyle Busch, congratulations.
Yep. So I got one prediction right.
All right. Yeah, we all did. We all got that one, but we didn't get anything else. So before we finish up tonight, let's make some picks. Okay, I'll just throw them out there. The Packs, Green Bay, and San Francisco.
Is it where's it at? Is it in?
If it's in Green Bay, it'll be snowing and they'll win. I don't know. I'm picking San Francisco myself.
I'm going
no matter where.
Whoever the home team is.
Okay. Dallas and New England.
New England.
Todd?
I'm gonna go with Cowboys.
I am too, because they're my team.
I think
I can't go against them.
Read that article that he's no longer a elite quarterback.
Yeah, we'll stomp him then.
He's gonna get depressed.
That's right.
It's gonna deflate his ego.
That's right.
He'll probably have 500 yards passing.
600.
Maybe.
I'm going with the Cowboys, and I'd say a touchdown.
All right, and then the other big game, Seattle and Philadelphia.
Man,
Philly.
I'd go with
Philly.
the Seahawks.
Oh, Philly.
I'm picking the way Wilson's playing. I'm picking Seattle in that game. Okay, and then we got the Monday night game, Ravens and who?
Rams.
I'm picking Ravens.
The Ravens are going to dominate.
I'm going Ravens.
Okay, and college.
Well, hey, what'd y'all say for the Packers 49ers?
I said 49ers.
I said home team, which actually 49ers are the home team. I'm going to go with Packers. I'm going against you guys this week.
Okay.
So Packers.
Somebody's got to, so we don't all eat crow.
Yep. No, Packers.
Okay.
Because it's going to be nice and they're going to be happy that they're not on the frozen tundra.
Right.
So.
Texas and Baylor.
God damn it.
I got to edit you out now.
Come on, D. You got to edit first.
I mean, if I'm betting my house, Baylor.
Ooh. I got to edit you out now.
Come on, D. You got to edit first.
I mean, if I'm betting my house, Baylor.
Ooh. What kind of house you got?
It's
and
nice.
What kind of TV do you have? I'll take it.
It's big.
I said if.
Now you got to make a pick, man. You got to pick one or the other. No ifs, ands, and buts. Who's going to win the game? All right, I got you.
I said if I'm betting my house, I got to bet them.
I'm picking Baylor.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Baylor.
There you go. All right, guys. Everybody have a good night. You've been listening to the Internet Sports Broadcast Network with Todd Frank, and Marty Burke.
Thanks, guys.
You guys have a great evening, okay?